We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it.
You didn't build a fucking thing, bitch. I don't think you could build a bear at Build-A-Bear.
You just got a small taste of the backlash to the racist crash out happening across the country, because those of us who don't actually want to live in an all-white ethno-state are getting pretty fucking fed up with all of these 8-brained cousin fucking fascists who are holding the rest of society back. But before we dive into that amazing response to Megyn Kelly's delusional white supremacist rant, I want to just zoom out for a moment and talk about this collective crash out that's happening across the country right now that I think is happening because racist white people are mad that America is turning 250 and Trump is president, yet they still don't have the white utopia they think they're entitled to. And that sentiment was expressed by a C-SPAN caller bemoaning the fact that America is so much more diverse than its founders ever intended it to be.
The very first naturalization laws that they put in place in 1790 said you had to be a free white person of character to become a citizen. They had no intention of flooding this nation with millions of people from the third world, and the founders never, they all wrote about that.
So according to him, the founders intended to turn America into a country exclusively for white people. Therefore, it's a travesty that we're much more diverse 250 years later than they intended it to be. But counterpoint, the only travesty is that people like him still exist, because quite frankly, I couldn't care less about whether or not a bunch of slave-owning, wig-wearing dipshits who literally shat in holes in the ground would be disappointed about how we turned out. The founders are dead. Okay, they're fucking dead. It doesn't matter if they look up at us with disapproval. That doesn't matter to any reasonable person, and there's no reason for us to arbitrarily tether ourselves to their ass-backwards vision for a country that they founded on stolen land. And I have to admit that I'm a little confused about what the fuck these people even want. They won. White supremacist Confederates have taken over the country. The Supreme Court killed the Voting Rights Act. Trump's Gestapo is purging non-whites from the country as we fucking speak. Tens of thousands of non-white immigrants are in concentration camps right now. Yet these people are still fucking unhappy because I guess the construction of their white ethno-state isn't happening fast enough. They don't want to wait another minute to see America become the white version of Israel. They want it right now. And to show you what I mean, DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin told Jake Tapper on CNN that the 350,000 Haitian immigrants at risk of losing their temporary protected status could technically apply for visas to avoid deportation. And right-wing Karen Tommy Loren blasted his comments, writing, "So no voter ID, and now mass deportations aren't happening either. Why do we elect Republicans? Don't be surprised when conservatives stay home in November. I'm not advocating for it, but I won't be surprised." Don't threaten us with a good time, Tommy. But she's mad because it's not good enough to just lay the groundwork to strip hundreds of thousands of hardworking people of their legal status in a systemic way over the next year or so. You have to throw them into a fucking wood chipper immediately to quench the Republican voters' thirst for blood. But of course, don't you dare ever call these people racist, because they're definitely not racist. They just think that, a white ethno-state was what the founders intended America to be. Therefore, we have an obligation to actualize the founders' vision. And that doesn't make the founders racist either, by the way, because they certainly were not racist. Don't you dare ever say that. This is according to that caveman-brained caller on C-SPAN.
And people say, Pedro, how horrible of a thing. They must have been a bunch of white supremacists. Well, no, actually not really, Pedro, because whoever builds the clubhouse decides who the members are going to be. They founded the country. They had every right to decide who was going to come here. And they made that decision. And in 1790, the census said that we were 99% white, Anglo-Saxon, and we were that way all the way through the 1960s. It's only in the last 40 years of Democrats flooding this country we see all the mess, all the disunity, and it's going to only get worse. Without assimilation, there will be no unity, and we'll have no nation without people coming together, assimilating into the core culture.
Right, except what is our core culture? Because I don't really know what that is. Riding around on mobility scooters, wearing overalls with no undershirt, screaming slurs at minorities? Having sexual intercourse with our cousins? Extra mayonnaise on sandwiches and no seasoning on chicken? I don't know what American culture is, because America doesn't really have a core culture, because like it or not, America is the amalgamation of many cultures from around the world. We are a melting pot. And that's one of the few things I actually like about America. It makes us cool. But don't take it from me. Take it from conservative Jesus himself, Ronald Reagan.
You can go to live in France, but you cannot become a Frenchman. You can go to live in Germany or Turkey or Japan, but you cannot become a German, a Turk, or Japanese. But anyone from any corner of the earth can come to live in America and become an American. This, I believe, is one of the most important sources of America's greatness. We lead the world because, unique among nations, we draw our people, our strength, from every country and every corner of the world. And by doing so, we continuously renew and enrich our nation. While other countries cling to the stale past, here in America, we breathe life into dreams, we create the future, and the world follows us into tomorrow. Thanks to each wave of new arrivals to this land of opportunity, we're a nation forever young, forever bursting with energy and new ideas, and always on the cutting edge, always leading the world to the next frontier.
Sounds like a woke lib to me. But you see, when these racist losers cry about immigrants not assimilating with their communities, they're projecting, because it's the racists who are the ones refusing to assimilate to what America descriptively and intrinsically is, which is a population of diverse people from around the world. Even the white people aren't homogenous in America. Some come from Germany, the UK, France. My great-grandparents came from Portugal to Ellis Island back when nobody cried about having an open border. None of this is new. The only thing that's actually changed about America in the last 40 or so years is that the racists no longer wear hoods to say the shit that these people are saying. But their racial anxiety and white rage stems from this realization of their own mediocrity. And in order to feel better about themselves, they tell themselves pretty little lies about how special they are for being white and how inferior people of color are, when deep down, I think they all know that they are worthless pieces of shit that can never amount to anything any immigrant they're attacking can amount to. And that brings us to Megyn Kelly, who went on a racist rant where she talks about how terrible Haitian immigrants supposedly are, and throughout her rant, she says things to hype up her own white ancestors, but it sounds like she's trying to convince herself more than anyone else, perhaps because maybe she's smart enough to know that she is superior to absolutely no one. And I mean no one, but just listen.
Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry. I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live.
Hey, Ku Klux Karen, every single thing that you just said about immigrants can also be applied to you. We don't want you in our country. How about that? How do you like that? I would happily trade every fucking immigrant on earth just for you. Hell, I'd take a Diet Pepsi and a bag of Cheetos in exchange for your dumbass. In fact, you know what? I would have our government pay any other government to just take you off of our hands, because you know what? You provide nothing of value to society, objectively speaking. You are a net negative to our country. So why don't you leave, motherfucker? Go back to Britain. Go back to Poland or wherever the fuck you came from in Europe, whitey, because maybe we don't want you here. Maybe you don't get to decide who gets to stay and who gets to go. But I mean, the audacity of these people, it's astonishing. But everything that I said was said better by TikToker Judah Parker, who absolutely schooled Ku Klux Karen, specifically on this idea that it was her ancestors that built this country. It's delusional, but listen to him break down what she said.
You didn't build a fucking thing, bitch. I don't think you could build a bear at Build-A-Bear. You didn't build a fucking thing. Enslaved black people, people from South America that the border crossed. They didn't cross the border crossed them. indigenous people, like, I don't know, Native Americans. Those are the people that built this fucking country. Immigrants built this fucking country. All the fucking white people that are like, oh, I have stake in this country. We built this country. Our culture and everything like that made America what it is today. Y'all niggas are fucking immigrants too. Y'all niggas are from Ireland, Germany, England, Britain, whatever the fuck. Y'all niggas are from Europe. Y'all niggas are from, y'all are fucking immigrants too. I cannot stand when motherfuckers look at one instance that helps them push their racist ass agenda, like when a black person may rob a gas station or steal something or unalive somebody, and then they'll ignore all the other beauty about the black race and say, see this one instance here, see this crime that this black person committed, they're all like that. And it helps me push my racist agenda. But then they'll completely ignore all the crimes and disgusting things that white people have committed. Also, while they completely ignore all of the beautiful accomplishments that black people have done and all the beautiful things that black people have built. The things that don't help them push their racist ass narrative, they're completely blind to it. And as soon as they see something that helps them put some type of logic behind their racism, while racism is rooted in illogical things, that's what they want to put in the fucking spotlight. She's sitting there talking about, oh, it's happening in Ohio. We're talking about the dogs and cats shit again. Megyn, come here, Megyn, stupid bitch Megyn. You didn't build a fucking thing.
That was so damn good. And you know that if she actually saw that, or if any racist saw it for that matter, they'd be seething, because the truth hurts, quite frankly. To know that they're not actually inherently superior because of the color of their skin has got to be a bitter pill for them to swallow, because it's the only thing that they think they have going for them. They know that they're untalented, terminally stupid, illiterate, and mediocre in every conceivable way, but because of their sheer caucasity alone, they've actually somehow convinced themselves that they're superior to everyone, that they're the master race. Fuck out of here. Nobody thinks that. You look delusional when you say shit like that. It's time for them to assimilate and acknowledge the fact that America is a country by and for immigrants. It was built by immigrants, and it consists of immigrants. All of us are immigrants. And if they don't like it, listen, they're the ones who are more than welcome to leave. But on the subject of assimilation, we're seeing in real time who's actually refusing to assimilate to American culture. In fact, they're actually proposing bans on pregnant women entering the country in response to the Supreme Court's birthright citizenship case. I shit you not, they're actually fucking doing this. And yes, a GOP lawmaker penned legislation to make this a reality. And no, that is not an Onion headline. It was published by Spectrum News. It's the equivalent of a temper tantrum. That's what we're seeing right now. It is embarrassing. And their refusal to accept what the Constitution says has led to some of the most bizarre racist crash outs we've seen in quite some time. And it is them collectively saying, we refuse to assimilate. We are not going to adapt to what America is, which is what the Constitution says it should be. But let me just show you some examples. Take white supremacist Stephen Miller, for example, who ironically wouldn't be a U.S. citizen if it weren't for birthright citizenship. But he explained why he thought that the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution was wrong.
And here's another point. Here's a pretty good clue your constitutional interpretation is wrong. If your ruling requires you to suicide your civilization, your reading of the Constitution is wrong. President Grant and the congressmen in the 19th century did not want to create an automatic third world citizenship requirement for America. It's an abomination, but let's thank President Trump, because of President Trump's courage and leadership, we are now on the precipice. Yes, we were dealt a setback, but because of his courage alone, we're on the precipice as a nation of being in a position to end this travesty once and for all. And that's what we have to fight for, Jesse.
Yeah, so disappointed in Amy Coney Barrett and the Chief Justice. So deeply disappointed, not just from a legal perspective, but just as Americans. They should know better than that. You're right.
Yes, because any legal scholar or constitutional law professor will tell you that a constitutional amendment is actually unconstitutional if you personally think that it leads to national suicide. I mean, brilliant analysis. This guy's going places. Maybe one day he'll be an advisor to the president or something like that. And I just love how Jesse Waters is feigning disappointment in the Supreme Court as if they did this to us, when they simply affirmed that birthright citizenship is indeed in the fucking Constitution. They can check. It's right there in the 14th Amendment, first sentence, actually. But they're all pretending like this is new, and they're using this ruling as a justification to just go straight up full fucking Nazi. And I'm not joking about that. Look at what self-proclaimed theocratic fascist Matt Walsh said about this. The actual birthright belongs to my children and the children of all real Americans. He means white Americans. They have a birthright to live in a country that resembles the one our ancestors established. And now that birthright, the only true birthright, has been destroyed in favor of the imagined birthright of children born to parents who don't even belong in this country and who have no ancestral or cultural ties to it whatsoever. Total madness, suicide. Words cannot describe how evil this is. And I'm sure it took him really long to write that because he probably had to resist the urge to furiously Sig Heil again and again and again. So he probably had a bunch of typos and whatnot. But his boss also chimed in, Ben Shapiro, and added to the chorus of white supremacist whining by calling the decision a, quote, legal abomination, to which everyone but myself apparently responded with a screenshot of an old tweet from him where he smugly says, "I'm sorry that the Constitution is happening to you." Which he's got to hate because he knows that they're right. The 14th Amendment is very clear about this, but yet they refuse to accept it, and they don't want to assimilate to what America actually is. But all the mouth frothing and pants shitting that we're seeing from baboon-brained white supremacist cunts is the direct result of them refusing to accept what America is and not what they think it should be. Despite our country's history of slavery and genocide and imperialism, which is ironically responsible for a lot of the migration that we're seeing, particularly from Latin America, America doesn't belong to these people. They think it belongs to them, but it doesn't belong to them. And like it or not, America is a very diverse country. And that's one of the few things I actually like about this fucking place, okay? Being able to enjoy food and music and customs and holidays from cultures around the world, it makes our existence as Americans so much more rich. Experiencing all of what humanity has to offer makes life worth living. It adds value to our lives, even if we don't realize how it does. If we lost all of that, it wouldn't make America great. It would destroy America. And the one surefire way, though, to actually make this country great, if everybody is concerned about that, is for all of us to find a way to get all of the white people who want to take that away from us to shut the fuck up forever. Because they're really the ones holding all of us back. They're the ones keeping America from becoming great. They're the ones focusing on the past and not allowing us to move forward. Like, they're trying to take us back to the 50s or 60s or 1800s. I guess it depends on who you ask. Well, we're all trying to address broader problems like climate change. But they're bringing back Jim Crow and overturning abortion. Like, I'm so fucking sick of these people. I hate them. I hate them almost as much as they hate immigrants. I would say more, but I don't think my body is capable of conjuring up the level of vitriol that these people are able to muster. And if I had the ability to fucking Thanos snap every single one of them out of existence, every single white supremacist gone like that, the quality of life for everyone else would improve exponentially overnight. We would be a borderline utopia if these motherfuckers were gone. So I guess the takeaway is that if all of these racists really do love America as much as they say, they're the ones who should actually make the ultimate sacrifice and leave. That, or they could kill.
Tremendous, 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 tremendous.